This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Chelsea. Chelsea is a champion surfer, so she's accustomed to moving super fast, which is why she relies on super fast broadband brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her family sharing and surfing and saving each month. Combined, she bundles her Flow mobile, home phone, and TV services, so she can enjoy much more for much less, and so can you. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
This is the Barbados Today morning news update for Friday, July 1st. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Claire Williams. Former Attorney General Dale Marshall is cautioning that yesterday's court ruling against government's plans to fingerprint nationals at the ports of entry is not an all-out victory for the public. Madam Justice Pamela Beckles ruled that the plans were unconstitutional in a case brought by attorney and social activist David Commissiong. He challenged the government's immigration biometrics regulation of 2015, which was due to take effect on April 1st. The move was delayed following a public outcry. But Marshall told Barbados Today that government could still attempt to implement the measure.
I haven't seen the decision, but I sense that it has been that the orders have been granted on procedural objections and not necessarily substantive objections. And I honestly fear that the government will try to find another way to reintroduce this measure. Certainly, listening to the Prime Minister and other ministers of government speaking in Parliament, it was clear to me that they were adamant that they were going to go in this direction no matter what. The court has ruled that these regulations are to be struck down, I believe on procedural grounds. So it leaves it open for the government to do it the right way next time.
However, he says a second attempt by government can still be challenged on constitutional grounds.
If the government tries to introduce it, it is still open to objectors to file a new application to the court, this time on the basis of constitutional motion, and also challenging the regulations for conflicting with our international human rights obligations. So it is still open to a further challenge.
The High Court will begin hearings later this month on a proposal by the judicial manager of the British American Insurance Company that outlines the way forward for the troubled insurer. When the matter came up before Madam Justice Jacqueline Cornelius yesterday, the court gave directions and adjourned the hearing of all applications until July 18. Attorneys at law Kevin Boyce and Benjamin Norris are acting on behalf of KPMG, the judicial manager. They are asking the court to approve of the final proposal. On the next occasion that the proposal is expected to be heard, all other parties involved will respond subsequently. Alair Shepherd QC is acting on behalf of Barbados Investors and Policyholders Alliance, which groups BAICO policyholders. Samia Desai is representing a corporate policyholder, while Adrian King and Cyriline Benskin Murray appeared for the Financial Services Commission. Police investigations are continuing into a robbery and a break-in at Sheraton Mall this week. General Manager Kim King confirmed to Barbados Today that the mall was broken into yesterday morning, and there was a shoplifting at Cave Shepherd's outlet at Sheraton Mall on Wednesday. A small section of the building was cordoned off yesterday, and King says they're working with the police in the hopes of catching and prosecuting the perpetrator as soon as possible. She says even though there has been an apparent rise in brazen criminal activity, Sheraton Mall remains a safe place. One of the island's leading hoteliers is advising against the promotion of straight condominiums here, saying this form of accommodation does not help the economy. Chairman of the Mango Bay Group of Companies, Peter Odell, declared he is fundamentally opposed to condominiums unless they are run differently.
I've seen it happen in France, in Spain, and you go and look in Spain and you see to the point now where the Spanish government have now introduced legislation that if you have a unit there, and you don't rent it, or you say you don't rent it, they say, okay, no problem, don't rent it. But you know what? We're assessing it at this. We feel it should earn X, you should pay away in tax, send a check. Because what will be happening, people having units there, they're locking them up, they stay for 3 months, they go away, and Mallorca now following the same, and it's not good for the economy of the country. You know? And then what you start seeing happening is that people start taking prime real estate, and Barbados is a small place, and if you start taking prime real estate and let's cut the interest rate economy and locking them up, it's not good.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
I love it. I love it. I give in your sweetness. Hey, it's your girl Azizi, the Barbados Today Crop Over Superstar 2015. The competition is even more exciting this year. There'll be 3 champions. The public will choose their junior, Soca Royale, and Pickety Crop champions. So here's how it works. Go to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Barbados Today to fill out your competition form. 2. Upload your video with your song to Barbados Today's Facebook page. 3. Make sure you invite all your friends and family to vote for you. The contestant with the most votes by the end of their competition will be crowned champion. I gave me a sweetness. I know you like sweetness. All of this is sweetness. Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Welcome back with news from the region. St. Lucia is stepping up its surveillance of the Zika virus. A new system was being rolled out as primary health care facilities record an increase in the number of patients seeking medical attention for the symptoms of the disease. We get more from HTS News Force in Castries.
Surveillance for Zika began long before the first confirmed case here and included widespread testing. The next step saw testing of patients from affected regions. 2 weeks ago, health officials confirmed that the total number of confirmed cases was 8, with 3 of those patients pregnant. Acting Senior Medical Officer for Infectious Diseases, Dr. Michelle Francois, says the focus of surveillance has therefore shifted to at-risk groups.
We have heard a lot about Guillain-Barré syndrome. We have heard a lot about the microcephaly in babies. So these individuals, especially the pregnant women, they are high on our priority list in terms of testing because of the complications of Zika.
Dr. Francois says it is important to note that the dynamics of the disease are changing and the response will in turn shift.
We have said a lot about Zika being a mild disease in terms of if we compare it to chikungunya, where persons were crying in pain, Zika does not produce that type of pain. So individuals who actually reach the hospital and are admitted, we would need to investigate those persons to find out how Zika is presenting in our population, because there is still a lot unknown about Zika. We're still uncovering a lot of information in our updates about Zika.
Zika is an emerging virus and the diagnosis can only be confirmed by lab testing.
Internationally, a 13-year-old Israeli girl has been stabbed to death at a Jewish settlement in the occupied West Bank by a Palestinian. Halel Yafa Ariel was attacked while she slept in her bedroom yesterday. A security guard responded to the incident but was wounded before the attacker was shot dead by other guards. Later in the day, a Palestinian stabbed and injured 2 Israelis in the coastal city of Netanya before being shot dead by a passing civilian. 34 Israelis have now been killed in a wave of knife, gun, and car ramming attacks since October. Israel says more than 200 Palestinians, mostly attackers, have also been killed during that period. And finally, police in Miami have found more than $24 million in an attic during a drugs raid. This is the largest cash seizure in the history of the police department. We get more in this BBC report.
Police say they found more than $24 million in a raid on a house in Miami Lakes. They were searching the home of 44-year-old Luis Hernandez Gonzalez. He's facing charges of money laundering, firearms possession and drug trafficking.
It's a nice neighborhood, and there's never been much of activity in that house. I'm actually very surprised.
Outrageous, and I would never ever had thought that that would have been something that was going on in this neighborhood.
The money was found in the attic in a secret compartment. $100 bills were bound in heat-sealed bags, and a loaded gun was nearby, police say. His lawyer doesn't think the case is cut and dry.
There's a presumption of innocence, and at this point they're connecting the dots that we don't think connect.
And that's the news this morning. Remember, there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune into Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good morning.